And I give him props. I mean, he didn't even like react to Angel Hernandez. He kind of just went about his business because as a rookie, bro, he did way better than I would have done because let's just say I would have been hitting the showers after that at bat.
Mike, have you ever been tossed from a game before?
Twice.
Twice? What did you do?
So, oh yeah, this is the best one, dude. It was sophomore year, a JV game.
Yeah, give us your best one. This is your best one.
This is my favorite one, just because. So I slid into second base. The umpire's standing like right behind the pitcher's mound, so obviously he's behind the play. So I was like, dude, I already know this. Like, oh man, I almost said something bad, but we're gonna keep it PG. This buddy here said, I knew he was gonna call me out, so I pop up and he goes, "Oh, you're out," and I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's a bunch of bullshit, and you know it." And he goes, "You're done, number one. You go sit down." And then that was basically how it went. I got tossed, and I was like, "Yeah." That was the first time I was caught stealing, so I was a little hot-headed about it. So after the game, they're like, "You know what you got to do now, right?" I was like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, you got to call varsity and tell them what you did." So they put me on FaceTime. They put me on FaceTime.
Oh my god, they put you on FaceTime too. That's even
team.
worse.
Yeah.
You had to call the team, so you weren't calling the coach. You called the full team.
No, yeah, like I called varsity. Like one of the kids on the team put me on FaceTime, and then like they were on the bus home from their game. So when they put me on FaceTime and like, "Tell them what you did," and I was like, "Yeah, I got ejected today in the second inning."
What'd they say?
They thought it was funny. But
I mean, it is. It's
this umpire that threw me out. He was the umpire that threw out the organ player at a minor league game for playing Three Blind Mice on the keyboard. He threw him out.
God!
Do you remember that video?
No way! It was the same guy.
The same umpire because my coach told me, and we looked it up. And yeah, it's like, bro, imagine that. You went from being a AAA umpire to being at a JV game in southwestern PA, brother. massive downgrade.
Were you playing at Wild Things Stadium?
No, I was at Elizabeth Forward.
Okay.
Dude, that's probably why he had the short leash, man. He had that whole thing going on. But hey, at least he ejected you for, something that you actually said, unlike Aaron Boone today. But dude, guys, we got a lot to talk about today. It's been not really a roller coaster week. Really a lot more downs than ups, but you guys see this Bart injury? I was so just like, really? Like, I don't think I've ever seen an injury like this happen before in my life. So, he was scratched from the final game of the Mets series because he wasn't feeling good. And, first we heard kind of like, oh, he's not feeling good. So we're like, oh, maybe flu, right? Maybe he's just sick. No, turns out he got beamed in the head during batting practice while he was catching a bullpen from one of the Pirates pitchers in the bullpen.
That would only happen. Well, I shouldn't say it only happens. It would only happen to Pirates because we just saw that
because it just happened again today. What is going on this year, man?
Jacob Jr. also got beamed in the head by a batting practice hit.
Well, he also got apparently taken to the hospital, so it must have been.
Yeah, it sounded pretty bad.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but still, it's like, what are the chances it happens twice in like a week?
If you think about the two of them, I mean, Bart was, he was catching a bullpen, so he presumably had that little catcher helmet and a face mask on. We don't really know where it hit him, but pretty much there, your whole, at least the top of your head where your brain is protected, and you have the mask in front. So his probably wasn't too bad, but Junis is probably just wearing a hat out there. Maybe. I mean, some pitchers don't even wear their hats to BP.
Dude, but even then though, if Bart is in the outfield and center field doing BP and gets hit from a nuke coming from home plate, that ain't gonna feel nice.
If
he's wearing a helmet or not.
No, I mean he was out for a few days this week.
Yeah, and then of course in the first game back, he took a foul ball right off the mask, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
great."
that too."
So they're
those directly in the face,
literally square right between the eyes and the mask, completely knocked it off. I was like, "Oh, great." So he had concussion concerns. Now he is concussed, but luckily he stayed in. He was fine.
Yeah,
But,
well, both of these now back to back in a week. Where does this rank for you guys in terms of weird injuries that you've heard about?
Well, it happened to the Pirates like a decade ago with Francisco Liriano. The Pirates signed him that.
Yeah, and he was out till like Mother's Day.
He didn't make his debut until Mother's Day, like a month, like a little over a month into the season, because in December around Christmas, he was faking Santa coming down the chimney to his kids, and he fractured his arm or had an arm injury or something.
Oh my god. That is just brutal.
Dude,
I couldn't even imagine that. Do you imagine calling into the team and being like, hey
oh
guys,
my god, dude.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to miss a month because, Santa Claus broke a bone. So,
I mean, that's
not as weird as Joel Zumaya years ago with he hurt his wrist playing Guitar Hero.
Dude, I think I have a couple better ones. Well, have you guys heard about the legendary string of injuries that happened former Giants reliever Jeremy Affeldt?
No, I'm not familiar with his string of injuries.
So he had about 4 of them that were really just bizarre. So 2012, he got placed on the 15-day IL after his son tackled him and injured his knee. Apparently his son was kind of big, so like him like landing on his knee ended up resulting in him injuring his knee. Then in 2015, he went to go jump in a lake at his same son's birthday, I believe, and he slipped off the platform and injured his knee while he was trying to jump into the lake.
Bro, get this kid away from this guy.
And then my favorite one was from 2013. One night he got a case of the sniffles where it was really bad and he was sneezing a bunch, and Jeremy Affeldt is a very aggressive sneezer. And so he ended up sneezing so much and so hard that he strained an oblique. And
bro, what?
And this was,
did that happen one time to Sammy Sosa? That where he just sneezed so hard he was like out for a day because he like hurt his back or something.
I haven't heard about that one, dude. That's happened to me though. Has that ever happened to you guys?
I mean,
where you ever sneeze so hard you got to go out of commission? Dude, it's definitely happened to me a few times where I'd be sneezing really at night and you just wake up the next day and you're kind of weirded out. You like can't go to the gym, you can't really lift. It almost feels like you have like a muscle tear a little bit. It's weird, but it happens.
I don't know. I mean, I've coughed like really hard and it like hurt my ribs, I guess. But like, I don't know if I could say like it would put me out on the shelf.
I mean, there were a couple weird animal ones, weren't they? A couple weird animal injuries. Who was it? Cespedes.
Cespedes. Yoenis Cespedes.
Wait, what did he do?
He had an ankle fracture after he was trying to avoid a wild boar.
What? I've never.
It was like on his farm or ranch or something, and like he got charged by a wild boar, and he was trying to get out of the way, and he hurt his ankle.
Dude, that is so random. Like what? A boar? That's kind of crazy, actually. Dude, imagine that call to the team.
Well,
I'm out. I got attacked by a boar.
There was another one. This one was with a dead animal. This time with Clint Barmas back in the mid 2000s.
Another former pirate.
Yep, former pirate legend Clint Barmas broke his collarbone after falling down while carrying deer meat that he got from Todd Helton.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. It's almost kind of like, it's funny because like when I guess my sister had like a very similar injury back in like elementary school. So she was sitting in her desk and fell out of it and broke her femur, like her whole femur.
Damn.
Right? That's insane, ain't it?
Sitting at her desk, she broke her femur.
Yeah.
Did someone like push her out of her chair or something?
Like you like sit on your knees like in your chair like when you're in elementary school, like it's what kids do. She like fell out of the chair and broke her whole femur.
Damn.
And then get this one. She lied to the teacher and said that she did it on the monkey bars because she thought that I was going to make fun of her.
Did you make fun of her?
Oh, I made fun of her either way. I was like, how'd you fall out of a chair?
That's the only way to do it.
I was like, bro, how'd you fall off the monkey bars? I still made fun of her. It didn't matter. But it was funny. Because then, like, they called my mom. It was like, we have some conflict with this story because the kids were not outside for recess, so she did not fall off the monkey bars.
She got found out. Oh,
yeah, she got caught, and I made fun of her for it.
Well, boys, I'm really glad that, we're getting the chance to laugh today. Maybe it is because the Pirates got to win today, but yes. I know both of you, especially, were not smiling yesterday at all.
Oh, Christ. Go ahead, Noah. I know you got a lot to say, so
Noah, I know you were steaming from the ears like Eddie Matthews yesterday, so you might as well get into it now.
Oh my God, dude. I can't think of the last time I was in a worse headspace than after that 6 loss yesterday. Because I was like, I was thinking about it, I was like, I think this is the worst I've felt about something that wasn't like a family medical emergency or anything like that since we were in sport law. Honestly, that was the last time I felt worse. And I was so upset in sport law during that semester because I was starting to ask for rides from my friends because there's times I was driving to school, and I was thinking in the back of my head, maybe I can get out of this test if I was in a car wreck or something like that. I was that upset during those tests, and I think that's the last time I was this upset because this offense was so horrible during. I mean, it's obviously gonna be horrible during a six game stretch where you just lose every game. It was so frustrating to watch, and there were times, and like the pitchers didn't do bad, which was the worst part most of the time. Was like there were like I know that Keller and Perez didn't have great games, but they gave them a chance to win, and the Pirates just couldn't do anything. We have this year, I think, about 7 games or 7 losses where we have lost by we've lost by 4 or less runs. I mean, it's just frustrating when you're losing that many games and you just can't get the offense going. And I think I wrote down like 4 or 5 of them. We had like at least 10 walks and hits combined. Like it's not like they're just not capitalizing. And when they are getting walks and hits, they just can't do anything. And then other times they just can't get either. It's so frustrating. And dude, I was just so angry, and I'm gonna let someone else take it. Let's
pump the brakes a little bit. Before we have a lot to talk about in regards to hitting and Andy Haynes and the Pirates' approach at the plate as a whole. Before we get to that, really quick, Noah, you mentioned how great the pitching was, and the pitching was pretty good over that 6-game losing streak, except for Quinn Priester, which I want to get into Quinn Priester first, just before we dive into the offense fully, just because we need to talk about Priester, man. So Marco Gonzalez, injury reserve, so his start was taken by Quinn Priester. 4.1 innings, 3 home runs, 4 earned runs, 7 hits. Second half of last year, he didn't look good either. He did have solid numbers at AAA. This guy is a first-round pick, but how many more chances do we have to give him? Obviously kind of spot start right now with Gonzalez on the injury list, looking like he's going to get at least another start before Gonzalez is able to come back. So, but still, man, how much longer can we do this with Paul sitting in AAA right now?
That was just such a brutal game, as I was in attendance for it. And I was also in attendance for
you were there,
debut.
Mike, I forgot.
I was there,
yeah,
and thank God I was under the influence because that was such an unenjoyable game. But, dude, I kid you not, we were walking into the stadium. Like, we were late, so it was like at the first inning. Before we sat down, it was 2-0. And 2 solo shots. We're like, are you kidding me? This is unbelievable. It was just like, and then I witnessed his debut when we lost 11-1 to the Guardians, so...
Oh, beautiful.
You need to stop going to Quinn Priester games.
Yeah. But I don't know.
We also went to the Phillies game where he pitched and he did meh.
I just want to say, guys, we went to a lot of Keller games before he was able to reverse the curse and then flip it around. So maybe you just need to go to more of them and knock it out, and then he'll perform better. But still, I mean, one of Priester's biggest issues of essentially just throwing things right down the middle still happened a bit and resulted in a few home runs.
It's so weird because he's been so good at limiting home runs, and he's a ground ball pitcher throughout his entire minor league career. It's like he's a sinker baller who's located well at AAA this year, and and I think his career ground ball rate is over 50%. So it's like weird that he's struggled so much with home runs in the major leagues. I don't know if I'm ready to give up on him. I was pretty high on Priester to start with, but I mean, like, look at what happened with Bailey Falter at the start of the year. He had that horrible start. Everyone was ready to send him to the sun, dude.
Mike.
Everyone was ready to rock him to the sun, and now and look how good he's done recently.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's time to give up on him yet necessarily, but it's pretty clear to me there's been a strong disconnect for him of what he can do at the minor league level and really what his game has been at the minor league level compared to what he's shown us at the major leagues.
Well, I mean, he was second in Ks in AAA throughout like the start of the season. So, I mean, he's shown that he can be a good pitcher, but it just hasn't translated to the MLB yet. I mean, he is still really young, so I feel like he can turn it around, but I don't know. There's only you only give him so many chances and getting shelled.
Honestly, I think he only makes one more start. If he struggles in this next start, then I think it's going to be Paul Skeens' time, because by then it might be that time in the first week of May where it's like, well, it's like there, and we've went past that date where we get the extra year of control. So who knows?
Do we know when Priester is probable to start again? Because it's either got to be this upcoming Thursday against the Brewers or this weekend against the Giants in San Francisco, right?
It's during the Brewers series.
Brewers?
Yep.
Wait, timeout. What day?
We'll see how it goes.
Is he supposed to pitch?
He's filling in for Gonzalez's spot, who usually pitches after Falter, right?
Wait, so Falter.
Correct.
So wait, that would be Wednesday's game?
At the time we're talking about this, Falter should pitch the next game, and then it should be Gonzalez's start, which is going to be probably Priester.
Because
so
I'm going to the game
so we'll
Thursday.
know by next week.
I'm going to the game on Thursday, and I didn't want to see another Quinn Priester start. So he got me worried there for a second. So I had to make sure.
Mike, just for you, I hope they move his start to Thursday now. Just for no reason.
Unfortunately, we would be getting shelled because I'm already 0 for 2 on the year in attendance. So, well, I think it's Keller, actually.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I mean, we're getting close to the point of Marco coming back soon too, right? Because he's on 15 days. He's still on track.
They said that he might be out for a couple weeks, and that's kind of upsetting.
Well then, yeah.
That's why I think that might be Paul Skeens' time by like 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, we talk about Paul nearly every show, so I don't think there's really a reason for us to get too into him on right now. But no, that Nets Priester start, man, it's going to be definitely something to monitor because his essentially career in the big leagues or career in the big leagues with the Pirates could kind of be on the line here, not fully, but this start means a lot, especially for a team.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a trade candidate come the deadline, especially if the Pirates are in that win now mode and we feel like we're close to contending and we're slight buyers. I wouldn't be surprised if they move Priester, just because I feel like he is the odd man out.
I could definitely see it.
Yeah, I wouldn't
all
either.
The other prospects, especially with Jones, Skeens, Chandler, Solmito. Like, where does Priester fit in there? And then you still have Keller,
Harrington. You got so many other guys in the minor leagues are just young and still haven't played that much. So,
yeah, but I mean, the Pirates will not be in contention if the offense plays like it did over that stretch. Obviously, today, Pirates got the win. We will talk about this game and some of the positives we saw from the offense today later. But we need to get into this stretch, this death stretch that we saw over the last week. And a lot of conversation, a lot of it's being pointed towards the hitting coach, Andy Haynes. Noah, I know you have some very strong thoughts about Andy Haynes. Would you care to share?
Dude, this is the most hate I've seen for a coach that didn't commit like a felony since Matt Canada last year for the Steelers. It's so frustrating. It's like everyone's like, oh, well, the batters still have to execute at the plate. It's like, yeah, that's true. But it's like everyone has been struggling. It's like, at what point is it a staffing
If
you have a couple
change?
Batters, is it like if there's some batters that just aren't getting things together, all right, that's one thing. But it's like 3/4 of the lineup. I wrote down some stats here with 5 players who have been struggling really badly recently, and I put it here, highlighted are the numbers that are league average or better. Do you notice how not any of those
nothing
numbers are
on the sheet is highlighted whatsoever?
Nothing is there highlighted. Nothing is league average or better. We have everybody is batting at the Mendoza line. They're not taking walks. They're striking out. There's no power. It's like, what's going on? It's like, and it's Andy Haynes has, and so far nobody has done good coming from the majors to the minor leagues to the majors under Andy Haynes. And the ones who have done good have went out to find outside help from Haynes. And I mean, I don't even know why we brought in Haynes to start with, because his resume with the Brewers was pretty bad. They were below average in all stats. And we complain all the time about how many times they take called strike 3. Every year Haynes was hitting coach for the Brewers, they were at least top 10 in called strike 3. I mean, it's just, he's brought that it's pretty clear that was the philosophy in Milwaukee, and now it's the philosophy here. And they moved on from him, and they've had some good years with some hitters, so we'll see what the Pirates do.
Noah, I just want to make it clear for everyone watching at home that on this list that you made of multiple players that are struggling greatly, where, he said nothing on here is highlighted, it's not bums on this list. We have O'Neal Cruz,
that's the most frustrating
Henry
thing.
Davis, Jared Triolo, Rowdy Tellez, and Jat Sawinski are all on this list.
And that's the most frustrating thing. I know these players can do good. This team was good in this after the All-Star break last year. They played above 500 in about the last 70-ish games. And it's like, it's pretty much the same team minus 2 or 3 players plus O'Neal Cruz and Jared Jones. So I hate when people say, oh, well, this team wasn't expected to do good. I expected 95 losses anyway. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, because there's nothing that'll make you happy, because there's no way you could have reasonably said this team was expected to lose 90 or more games when you look at how good they did in the second half of last year and now what they're doing.
I think the most frustrating thing with the Pirates is not swinging the bat. So,
absolutely,
I looked at some stats. Coming into tonight's game, the Pirates have struck out looking a total of 61 times already. That is atrocious. The Pirates have a caught looking percentage of 29.3%, which is the 3rd highest in the MLB. Now here's the other thing. Pirates swing at 44.7% of pitches seen, which is the 3rd lowest in the MLB. Oh my gosh.
See, here's another frustrating thing I found. They have the 6th lowest in-zone swing rate, which means they're not swinging very often inside the zone. But they also have the 6th lowest one of the lowest chase rates, which means they're not swinging outside the zone. It's like, what are we they're not swinging. It's like, we're not swinging at pitches outside the zone. That's good. We're not swinging pitches inside the zone. It's like, why? Yeah. It's like, I understand being patient and working counts. That's good. They're doing that. They average some of the most pitches per plate appearance in the game right now. But it's just like, you have to do something. You have to eventually swing the bat if you want to win. It's like, and we saw that today with the first win against the Brewers, which we'll talk about later, I'm sure.
Wait.
Yeah, there are some.
Say one more thing, Dawson. I was supposed to say.
What you got, Mike?
To piggyback kind of off what you just said, Noah. Apparently, so there's another statistic. We've swing at strikes thrown 71.6% of strikes thrown, which is the 4th lowest in the Major League Baseball. But like you said, we do see a lot of pitches. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dawson. Did you not say before we went on the air that we were 3rd in walk rate as a team?
Third highest in walk rate, which that's what I was going to bring up. With this kind of approach, there are some positives to it. Third highest in walk rate. They're at 10.7% right now. Only teams above them are the Dodgers, who are 0.1% higher than the Pirates, and the Yankees, who are somehow at almost 12%,
which is just insane,
of a team walk rate, which is just insane. And Noah mentioned earlier 7th lowest chase rate, but with this type of approach they've been doing, you know, we have it listed here. We have 2 positives listed for this type of approach at the plate, and the negatives list is just a giant block right below it. Sixth worst whiff rate in baseball, lowest exit velo on the baseball, 6th lowest in zone swing rate, 7th worst in zone and as zone contact rate, 5th highest whiff rate. It's just not working.
It's like it also kind of feels like 2019 with the pitching staff, because it's like they were trying to force every pitcher to be a certain mold. And I'm looking at some of the numbers, it's like, you guys are trying to make O'Neal Cruz and Jack Suwinski contact hitters. That's not who they are. They're power hitters. Let them drive the ball. It's like, it's okay if they're kind of let Jack Suwinski go and bat 220, 230 with 25, 30 home runs, and even though he might strike out a third of the time, he's gonna walk 10 to 12% of the time. Let O'Neal Cruz go out there and bat 250 with 35 home runs. He's gonna strike out a third of the time, but it's gonna be okay because he's gonna have an average batting average and like a ton of home runs. It's like, just let them play to their strengths. It's just like, it doesn't feel like that's what Andy Haynes is doing with the offense, or telling the offense to do.
How much of this do you feel like is more of a organizational philosophy shift, you know, coming from the front office, telling them to take this approach, versus just Andy Haynes or Derek Shelton or any member of the coaching staff for that matter?
Well, I don't think it's Derek Shelton. We should have hired Derek Shelton as hitting coach. He has a great resume as a hitting coach in the past. He was a hitting instructor in the minor leagues for the Guardians when they were still the Indians in 2003 and 2004. He came up to their major league team from 2005 to 2009. Also, after that he went to Tampa Bay for 2010 to 2016. Just for concept, I built a lineup of Derek Shelton players that have either developed or broke out under Derek Shelton, just as a pure concept to show that Derek Shelton can show hitters what to do, okay? I have John Jaso at catcher. Everyone remember, all Pirates fans remember John Jaso. But here's the thing. Travis Hafner at first base. Logan Forsythe at second base. Johnny Peralta at third base. Asdrubal Cabrera at shortstop. Shin-Soo Choo in left field. Grady Sizemore in center field, Coco Crisp in right field, and Victor Martinez as a DH. All these guys came up right around that time that Derek Shelton was hitting coach for their teams, or when they were in the minor leagues for some of the Indians players, and they were rookies and stuff and still playing a little bit in the minor leagues. All of them did great under Derek Shelton. So it feels like, why don't we have Derek Shelton at least get a little more hands-on with the offense right now? Because it's clear he has a pretty good track record in previous years.
I guess I'll say this. Obviously, something has to change because it's been piss poor. And I think I mentioned it before. I may have mentioned it earlier on the pod, but the Pirates are now, after tonight's win, 11-0 when scoring 4 or more runs. We have 12 total wins on the year. So it seems like our floor has to be 4 runs every game to manufacture a win.
Which, that doesn't seem like that difficult of a task. You know, you are going to have games that end 2-0, 3-2, but...
I don't know who needs to tell Andy Haynes this, but when you score a decent amount of runs, you usually win.
It's simple as that.
They're in a situation now, though, where I feel like it's kind of hard to tackle, at least this early in the season, because, you know, it almost seems like there's really not much you can do. They aren't letting a hitting coach go in April or May, maybe not even in June, unless things get really, really bad, even worse than they have been now.
Well, let's just say it was trending that direction. But...
Well, last podcast, I said that the only way I think the Pirates would possibly let go of Andy Haynes mid-season is if we had a massive losing streak like we did last year, where we lost 10, 11 games in a row. Nothing was going. I think Bay and Suwinski had 0 for 20-ish streaks. And it was like, what's going on here? And I said that I think that's the only way they let Haynes go. For a while there, I was like, oh my God, it's like we might actually get to that point. For a while there, I was like, it might boil to that point. And if we reaches that point, they might actually do it. Because there's no way you can you can have a win streak in the double or a losing streak in the double digits and like not make a change.
Didn't Rumbunter end up putting out a poll of what do you guys think Andy Haynes should be fired? Was it after Saturday or Sunday's game? I believe I saw it somewhere.
I forget what day it was we put that out, but pretty much said that decent amount of people wanted Haynes fired and did not want him here.
So Noah, what just to recap really quick, what suggestions would you give to the Pirates hitting approach as a whole?
Just swing at pitches in the zone. I don't know what it seems so
seems
obvious.
Simple, doesn't it?
Why don't we just be aggressive?
It seems so simple, and we know we know these hitters can be good. They did great in the minor leagues. They showed talent in the major leagues. It's like we know they can be good. Just work to your strengths. Swing at pitches in the zone. And the only other thing I could say is like make Derek Shelton be more on hands with the hitting, because it's pretty clear that Shelton has a pretty good resume with hitters in the past, like I said, and it's like just let him work a little more with the hitters, I guess. I mean, I'm not saying that Derek Shelton has like had no interaction at all with the hitters and isn't doing anything to oversee it, but I think that he should be a little more hands-on at this point.
I do think a little more. It seems like they aren't playing, we talked about it a little bit, but that's probably the big key here is playing to the individual strengths of players. Because right now it kind of seems like it's been pretty across the board as far as the approach that they've taken at the plate, which that doesn't work for everybody. Very clearly. It's not working for O'Neal Cruz, and it's definitely not working for Jack Suwinski, who we did see have success at the major league level. So,
yeah, Mike.
Don't even get me started about Jack Suwinski. I'm fully on the DFA Jack Suwinski train.
No. No. Absolutely not. But it feels like that's where they need to go with this is less, blanket, this is what we're doing as an organization, and more this is what we should do with the individual players. But it's not even like the offense was bad in that stretch, but the Pirates bullpen hasn't been great either, man.
Nope, not at all.
They've blown a lead. Up until this losing streak, they blew a lead in every series except the Nationals series, and it's like it's so frustrating. I mean, I've said frustrating a lot, but I mean this team has been frustrating this year. I mean, this bullpen was supposed to be really good going into the year. And I still think it's going to be good. By the end of the year, I think we're going to say this is still a really good bullpen. But it's just not been clicking recently. And it's like, at least the Pirates have some guys in minor leagues. I think Ryan Borucki's probably going to be returned soon. I think the 15 days is up today or tomorrow. And last update on him was that he's feeling pretty good, so I expect him to be back soon. But Carmen Mlodzinski's also doing pretty good at AAA, and he had a great second half last year. One of the best rookie relievers in baseball in the second half. So I expect them to come up and help the bullpen that's just kind of been scuffling right now, and it really needs those reinforcements, but it's just not been as strong of a strength as we were projecting at the start of the year.
And I feel like, too, a lot of people want to just throw the blame at David Bednar because he has 3 blown saves. But, if you look at it, every single reliever in this pen is responsible for the other team taking the lead at least one time or a game-tying run. I mean, Chapman's done it. Chapman had a terrible game tonight. He threw 9 straight balls, literally tried to make us lose our 7th game. I mean, you've had Holderman come back, gave up a home run. And Borucki,
he's been pretty good since, though.
He has been good. He's probably been the most consistent since he's been back. But then you have Borucki, who gave up runs. Hunter Stratton's been getting hit around. Ryder Ryan's been getting hit around. Roansy Contreras has been getting hit around since he's been called up. It's like
Luis Ortiz up and down. Sometimes
he's even been a little shaky.
Luis Ortiz sometimes goes out there and looks amazing, and then other times he can't locate.
Exactly.
It's so weird.
But I just hate when people just put all the blame on Bednar when consistently.
Yeah,
it's been the bullpen as a whole just not getting it done over this stretch.
I think once we activate Borucki and we call up Mlodzinski, you put Borucki in Chapman's role for now, and you also put Majinski also kind of in that role of like 7th, 8th inning man.
I think it would just be it would depend on lefty righty situation, I think.
Yeah.
And if the other pitched the other game or
that
whatever.
Consistency in that back end is something very important for this team. Not only so, you know, we don't pull our hair out watching every single game, but also for, you know, the players on the team as a whole. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but, you know, during that 6-game losing streak, everyone looked pissed. Like it looked bad. I haven't seen the morale in that clubhouse look that bad in a pretty long time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you had Keller. Keller spiked his glove off the dugout after giving his up a 2-run shot in his last.
Tellez broke his bat.
McCutchen threw his helmet.
Cruz broke his bat.
It's like
Kutch threw his helmet.
You never see like veteran players like, especially Kutch and Tellez, who are supposed to be like team leaders of the dugout, losing their cool. Like that's how you know.
Yeah. You know if those two are blowing up. Yeah, something. Things are very much not going well.
Not at all. I mean, it's crazy because the
only thing I can say is that
Jared Jones. He's the most composed, and he's a rookie.
Only thing I can really say is that I'm kind of happy that at least there's some fire in the clubhouse.
That's true.
That's really
at least
it.
They're frustrated.
They care. That's something.
I mean, that is a positive to take away, I guess, from a very, very pitiful stretch of the season.
It's just been so frustrating because this team has expectations. This isn't like 2021 or 2022 where we have like Josh Van Meter starting games at second base every other day, or Kevin Newman starting games at shortstop every day.
Moran.
Or like Chase DeYoung being our best reliever outside of Bednar. It's like this team has expectations and they have talent. It's just not clicking right now, and it's extremely frustrating.
And based on the way the NL Central is looking right now, they still have a chance to win the division.
It's absolutely possible.
Which is kind of crazy because the Brewers and Cubs are two of the hottest teams in baseball right now. But yet, as bad as the Pirates have played, we are only 3 games out of first place right now. And obviously with 3 more games to go against the Brewers, I mean, that keeps them right in it through going towards April.
Getting to play Miami at the start of the year is definitely a nice boost.
Yes. And the Nationals. Although the Nationals are kind of clicking. But
Nationals have been playing well. Nationals took a series against the Dodgers.
The Marlins might be the new A's for the year, as they're like
the
5
White Sox might be the new
Marlins are
pretty
bad.
What are they? They're like 5-17.
What are the White Sox? The White Sox are like 3-16.
I think I saw something saying the White Sox are on pace to lose like 126 games. So just remember, fellas, you know, especially you, Noah, just remember as we keep going, you can always be the 2024 White Sox. And be on pace to lose 126 games in a season.
Well, I'll tell you what, if this team is on pace to lose 126 games, then there's going to be some hell in the city of Pittsburgh because something went terribly wrong with this team. And
if we lose 126 games, I'm just going to have to expect that like someone died or something because there's no way.
No, but hey, back in the win column tonight. What a game tonight. And guys, I woke up today, you know, yesterday, I know a lot of us were kind of upset, you know, going to sleep until, well, me and Mike were upset, and then we watched Will Ospreay and Brian Danielson blow the roof off of St. Louis. But yeah, put us in a little bit better mood. But woke up today, I look at my MLB app, I see Jared Jones is starting for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I say, oh, man, it's all going to be okay. We're going to live. We are going to live, and that is exactly what we did. Jared Jones, 91 pitches. He was pulled early on Tuesday. You know, he only had 4 days of rest, so they took him out early. Made sense. Today, let him cook. 91 pitches. Got a little bit scary there. What was it? The 6th inning where he had the bases loaded?
He worked out of it. So, I mean, he showed great poise.
Worked out of it, especially after. So that at bat that he had against Rhys Hoskins, where he walked him, I was like, oh man, he's done. They're gonna take him out. Left him in. And he comes back, comebacker, gets the out, gets out of the inning with the bases loaded. keeps the game tied at 1 at the time. Pirates go on to score in the bottom of the inning, but 91 pitches, 1 run, 7 strikeout, set a high for 25 whiffs. But lineup was looking pretty good tonight, wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most encouraging thing is Andrew McCutchen going 3 for 4 with a leadoff home run, and also getting Oneil Cruz going 3 for 4 with a double that drove in 2 runs. Considering the reports that came out yesterday after the game, Oneil Cruz said he was dealing with confidence issues, and clearly...
That should help, though.
Clearly, he was struggling with confidence issues. But tonight, getting 3 hits...
Having a good game should definitely help him.
I believe Derek Shelton told him... I saw this on pre-show today. They said, he's like, man, I want to see some teeth. He's like, I haven't seen you smile all week. And then he said he put a big smile on Cruz's face. And did anyone see this after the first hit? I thought this was so funny. What Endy Rodriguez did. No.
What did he do?
So Cruz hits his line drive up the middle, gets on base, right? And Cruz gets to first and takes a big sigh. So then all of a sudden, Endy climbs up the fence and he's just like screaming, throws his hands up, smiling real big, gets Cruz to laugh. And he's like, get the ball, get the ball. He's trying to get him to throw the ball in because his first hit in so long. It feel like it was just so good to see the team like relax and having a good time with how bad the stretch has been. And especially with Cruz and McCutchen being 2 of the worst hitters over this stretch, turning around with both having 3-hit games is
Here's
amazing.
Something I saw that was really promising to me was that McCutchen, Suwinski, and Cruz didn't strike out once. Very promising for me to see for a team that struggled so much with strikeouts.
McCutchen out of the leadoff spot too. How do we feel about McCutchen in the leadoff spot?
I was dissing it so hard before the game. I was like, why? He's batting like 180. Why is this dude leading off? And boy, did I eat my words so fast. It was a solo home run to start the game.
Just how badly the offense has been struggling recently. I was just like, try it. Why not?
Dude,
you know,
let him cook.
I was to the point where I was like, you know what? You got to do something here because whatever we're trying right now ain't working. So it's like, do whatever you need to do. I've gotten to that point where it's like, you know, if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, well, you know, there's a 7th loss.
Oh, what's one more?
I kind of like it, man. Little bit of veteran presence at the front. You know, Kutch is going to give you a good AB too.
Yeah, he still walks a ton. I mean, even if he can bat like 250 this year, he's gonna have a really good on base percentage, and that's really all you want from your leadoff guy.
Oh yeah, right now he's sitting at a 670 OPS.
Yikes! we all were just like, yeah, ooh. No, but you know,
it'll be okay.
But hey, man, maybe the leadoff spot's just where he's comfortable.
So I have one narrative that I wanted to push. I wanted to get it off my chest. So I was all for Rowdy Tellez backing up David Bednar and saying don't boo. But brother, after you said that, you proceeded to be one of the worst hitters on the team.
Yeah,
like,
you can't do that and then do awful.
Do awful. It's like, bro, it's so hypocritical.
I mean, granted, like the whole team's done awful.
But
so
it's just
like
the fact that he was the one that spoke out about it. So it's like, no, we're gonna boo you, brother, because you've literally done nothing since you've said this, and we suck right now. So you are the scapegoat, and we're gonna attack you as a Pirates fan.
0 for 2 today until he was pinch hit for Joe.
Interesting.
Hey, Brandon Belt's still out there on the free agent market.
Dude,
bring him in.
It's April and he doesn't have a contract yet. He's done. He's going to retire.
I really wanted us to bring in Brandon Belt, honestly. He had such a good year last year. I'm shocked he didn't get a contract from anyone.
I really don't understand it either, but I
want to sign Rhys Hoskins too, but I realized that probably wasn't realistic. But I was like, all right, let's settle for Brandon Belt. You know, Belt had a great year last year, kind of playing a platoon role as DH and first base. You know, he's still a decent defensive first baseman, even though he's getting up there in age. It's like, bring in Brandon Belt to platoon with Joe, and we're all good. And you know, I had a lot of faith in Rowdy Tellez, but like, it just hasn't been working so far. I don't know what they're gonna have to do.
You said Connor Joe, and why has he not been playing recently? He's been one of the better hitters. I was like, I don't care about the whole lefty righty thing. Our lefty hitters have been atrocious. Like it is not given us an advantage for them to be going up against the right-handed pitchers. Other than like Cruz figured it out today. Like I get leaving Cruz in there, but Jack Suwinski and Tellez have not been hitting the ball. So why do we keep playing them when you have Connor Joe and Edward Olivares, who are significantly better hitters so far?
To a degree, you still want to give those guys their at bats.
Yeah, I understand that.
No one's going to improve if they aren't seeing major league at bats.
Change it up.
It's not gonna help the offense if they don't improve. Correct.
Yeah.
But they aren't going to improve if they don't get those at bats, and you're getting one at bat every 4 days.
I don't know.
That's
but sometimes it's good.
That's why I like to tell a lot of Giants fans that's why Bart wasn't improving in San Francisco.
Hey,
because
to
he's
be
getting
fair,
an at bat
Joey
every
Bart
4 days.
is literally doing what you just said with the Pirates and doing just fine. Every other
day. He's getting more at bats now than he was.
I mean, kind of, but like
he started 2 games in a row recently.
Yeah, I know. But I'm like saying at the start,
consistent playing time.
He was.
It's not as much platoon ball as it was.
No, but I'm still saying like he
like
did fine in the early parts of it. Through his first 10 at bats, like he started and missed 2 games, and then came back in and then proceeded to go 2 for 3 with a double and a bomb. So it's like he didn't miss a beat. So
well, I thought he would have got more playing time over the last week if that injury didn't happen to him. I mean, we talked about it last week.
He probably would have. Yeah.
Well, he was scratched from the lineup. He was scratched from the lineup one of the days because he wasn't feeling great.
But like,
yeah, I don't think a ball to the head makes you feel all that great, does it?
No,
can't.
Any of you guys ever taken a ball to the dome like that?
Ball to the dome?
Nah, yeah. When I was like, in like little league, when I was like 10,
I've literally never had an injury,
inside the head.
So I can't.
Dude, I remember that at bat. It was a guy that I eventually became pretty good friends with in high school and stuff. And for some reason he like threw behind me twice. I don't remember what the score was, but it was like he threw behind me twice, and I was like, something's clearly going on. And then eventually he hit me in the head.
All right. Well, we also saw
got off the track.
We also saw Bednar get the save tonight, which was
much
needed for him.
Bednar's been looking better recently, which is promising. I mean, I expected him to get better with just, getting more stretched out and stuff, but he's locating much better, and the stuff looks better than it did at the start of the year.
No, you should have bought low when I offered him to you in fantasy baseball, man. Now you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on an all-star closer.
Okay.
But no,
I should have.
What do we got coming up over the next few games?
So over the next month, we face the Cubs and the Brewers 13 more times over the next month. So like up until late May. And it's like, this could be the point where it's like, are we going to be competitive in this division or not? We have to at least go 500 if you ask me against this. We got to go 7-7. We're already off to a good start with 1 win, but it's like, this could be like the big, like, are we going to do good in this division? Or are we not going to do good in this division? And if we can do pretty good in this 14-game stretch, I think that could be a big deciding factor. And hey, we're all, like I said, we're already off to a good start, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. Big stretch. I mean, like, we're only 3 games out of first place in the division, as bad as it's been, and especially with a big opportunity with the Brewers. I'd like to see them build off of the win today and keep stringing wins together, please. For the love of God, do not slump again this early in the season, or my morale will just plummet. But I think, like, so I actually wanted to bring this up earlier, but we kind of got sidetracked about Jared Jones. So it was a stat that I found, and he has become the 4th pitcher since 1893 to record 7+ Ks in each of his first games. I think that is just absolutely insane.
1893, is that what you said?
He's the 4th pitcher since 1893 to have 7 or more Ks in their first 5 career games.
Oh my god.
The impressive part is he's doing this with like elite command. It's so insane.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude.
He only has 4 walks. So
he had 3 straight. Didn't he have like 3 straight games without allowing a walk?
That is insane.
Yes, I do believe so. And currently he is second place in the amount of strikeouts in baseball. So
it's so insane just how good his command has come along, because that was the big thing. Like, that was the big thing in high school and when he first got drafted. He was walking a bunch of guys in his first year or two in the minor leagues. He progressively got better, and last year he got his walk rate under 10%, but it's like it's amazing how far it's come along. And when you're throwing 97 to 100 miles an hour, when you have just that pinpoint command, it's just going to play so good.
And he's literally been statistically the best, like, Pirates prospect pitcher since Gerrit Cole. And this is shouting out Andrew Filipponi for this one. I thought this was very interesting when I saw him tweet this earlier tonight. So through their first 5 career games, Gerrit Cole pitched 29 and 2/3 innings with a 4-1 record, 3.94 ERA with 16 Ks. Well, we thought that was great. No, Jared Jones blows him out of the water. 29 innings, going 2-2 with a 2.79 ERA with 39 Ks. So, safe to say that he is the best Pirates pitching prospect since Gerrit Cole. Even that's with Skeens. That's what's even crazier.
You know what? You know what's even this is gonna completely blow your mind, but Jones was considered the 3rd best pitching prospect behind Skeens and Chandler going into this year. Imagine
really?
a situation
they put up behind Bubba.
He was
this
considered
year?
Chandler was considered better than Jones because he had that outstanding second half. He was a shortstop coming up through high school, so he's extremely athletic. And he throws like mid to upper 90s. He touched 100 miles an hour in his last start.
He did. I did see that.
And people had him as a better pitching prospect than Jones. There is a possibility. I don't know how likely it is anymore because of how good Jones has been, but there is a possibility that Jones is the third best pitcher on this pitching staff in like the next 3 years.
Nah, see, just think of it this way. Mitch Keller is going to be...
I don't know how much of a possibility that is.
If Jones is playing as he's been playing, to me, he's probably going to be the ace, personally.
I'm just saying, like I said, I don't know how likely this is given how well Jones has pitched, but there is that possibility that Jones happens to be the 3rd best pitcher on this pitching staff, which would be absolutely and utterly insane. Because if that's true and Chandler and Skeens truly live up to that potential while Jones continues to pitch well, I mean, that's probably the best trio of starters the Pirates have ever had in their history. And I can't think of the last time...
We could have the best rotation in Pirates history, potentially.
I'm just saying, though, just saying those first 3 starters with Skeens, Jones, and Chandler. I mean, when was the last... If they truly live up to that potential, which they've so far done in the minor leagues and Jones in the major leagues, like, you got to consider, like, how good is this compared to, like, some of the best trios of all time? I mean, if it gets to that point, obviously. Hopefully it does. We'll see what happens, but hopefully it does.
Trios, but I'm looking at the whole rotation. Think about it. You're going to have Skeens.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Jones. Keller is still around. And then you're going to have Solomito and Bubba Chandler all in the same rotation. Dude, Mitch Keller could be a 5.
You're also getting Mike Burrows.
Dude, yeah,
You're also getting Mike Burrows back mid-season from Tommy John. Dude, and then next year you get Yohan Oviedo back. That's someone everyone completely forgets, but you're getting Yohan Oviedo back too next year.
I mean, the Pirates have never... I can't remember a time that the Pirates had this much pitching depth, and I don't know what to do with it.
There's a possibility. Imagine next year that Yohan Oviedo is the 7th best starter on this team.
I won't be surprised. But
hey, can Bubba still play shortstop if it gets to that point?
Please no.
He could probably if they absolutely needed him to, but he could probably like play there in an emergency, but I don't think. But they completely dropped it last year, so
no.
You gotta think this year they're drafting a position player in the first round. Yeah,
I'd like to assume it's an outfielder. Please, we need outfield prospects.
Or him or who's I was looking at Braden Montgomery from Texas A&M. Dude, he's so insane.
Oh yeah.
He throws 90 miles an hour on the mound, so he has like an insane cannon. So he's made some insane throws from the outfield. Dude, he's so fun. But the Pirates have the 9th pick. He's probably, and Montgomery is probably gonna go top 5. I don't know, but hopefully maybe there's a couple like underslot picks, overslot picks, and he falls to 9. Another guy, Nick Kurtz from Wake Forest. Dude, that guy's insane. He's a first base prospect, but still, I mean, he's a good defensive first baseman. He's just been absolutely insane.
We need a first baseman. The only one we have technically is Endy. and he's hurt all year.
Do you know the last time a Pirates first baseman had a 3 WAR season?
Pedro?
Probably not in my lifetime.
Nope.
Not Pedro?
It's not in our lifetime.
I figured.
Oh my god.
I figured.
It was Kevin Young in like 1999 or something.
Oh my god.
The last time here's another one. Do you know the last time a Pirates first baseman had consecutive 2 WAR seasons?
Consecutive 2 WAR? Is this gonna date back to 1967?
No, not that far back.
How bad is it?
It was Jason Thompson in the 80s.
Well, that's still pretty bad.
We're
not allowed to have a good
hasn't
first
had a good
baseman.
first baseman forever.
Hey, maybe now's the time. I mean, you never really know with draft season really until the days come. I mean, they're once the first round comes around, even, you know, there's a lot of stuff, you know, you think you know, and then the first round comes around and you're like, really? Like, are you sure?
Yeah, like Mike predicting
Kumar Rocker. And we're all like, no, you idiot. They're not going to do that. Boom, Kumar Rocker to the Rangers. And we're like, what?
Oh
like,
my gosh. I was like, yeah, dude, they're taking Jack Leiter and Kumar, and they're going to pair the teammates. And you're like, no, that ain't going to happen. Why would they do that? It's stupid.
Okay, to be fair, like, Rocker went into that year not even ranked as a top 10 prospect in the draft. It's like, how are we supposed to know that Rocker's going to all of a sudden go become the second overall pick?
I'm typically right with these predictions. Just like I said, Marcus Stroman was going to be a Cub when he signed there. I was saying that for like over a year.
You just get lucky.
You just get lucky. You just got lucky with the Rocker pick, okay?
No, I called it. I'm him.
All right. But yeah, looking at these next few weeks, Brewers coming in, then the Giants, then at the just Athletics. They're not Sacramento, not Oakland, just the Athletics.
No, they're the A's.
That's all that's all they are now. Hey, you know, Jared Jones is going to be starting in San Francisco this weekend, guys. I might have to head up and go see that in person.
Hey, yeah, you definitely have to.
I don't want to go down to the Coliseum though. I'd be okay if I never see the Coliseum again in my life.
Makes sense. You mean you don't want to go to the stadium that floods sewage when it rains? Maybe I will, and you know.
No, you get to go see Mason Miller.
Go right behind home plate for $20. True.
Yeah, Pittsburgh kid.
We'll take a look at some of the pitching matchups. They are playing on a Wednesday afternoon at like 3:30 Pacific time. So, or no, that should be around 12:30 Pacific time. So, we'll see, man. I'm gonna have to go see Jared Jones. But you guys got anything before we head out?
I think I released all my frustration today.
No, I'm actually proud of how you did today. I was expecting a lot more cursing.
If this happened after the 6th loss, it might have been.
It's a really good thing Jared Jones was on the bump today, because otherwise, man, there would have been a monsoon rolling all the way through this show today.
Or if we somehow managed to blow it today. Like,
dude, if we blew that, it would.
Chapman was threatening to give us a 7th straight loss. I think it's
dude. If we blew that, I don't even know if I would have even wanted to record today. I think I might have just went to bed.
But we didn't. Hey, good times today. Good times rolling into the rest of the Spurs series and in San Francisco this weekend. But thanks for listening to the show today, everyone. See you next week.
Down at the park. Raise the Jolly Roger. It's been many years in coming. Let's keep that buck rolling.